So welcome everyone. In this video we're going to be talking about the process of awakening, and we're really going to be focusing in on the individual level in this video as we continue to move through this massive shift in consciousness video series. So basically we're going to be talking all about the types of things that you can expect to move through as you start to or continue to awaken or ascend into this beautiful new consciousness vibration. So this is really important to understand, because once you understand the types of things that can happen on your journey, it can just help to smoothen things out a little bit, and it can just help to make things a little easier for you as your shift in energetic vibration continues to play out. So we've got plenty to get through in this video, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is now part 3 of our little video series. In part 1 we gave a pretty comprehensive introduction about the shifting consciousness concept, and we wanted to do this so that everyone had a good foundation about what this shift in our energetic vibration is really all about. So in part 2 we talked about all of the amazing new light frequencies that are starting to become available to us all at the moment, and we also talked about the impact all of those new energies having on our planet. So here in this third part, as we mentioned in the introduction, we really want to focus on the individual level as we start to talk about some of the more important concepts that relate to this ongoing process of awakening or ascension. So one of the first things that we need to understand about this shift in consciousness is that whilst it is a collective shift in our energetic vibration, it's also something that's happening very uniquely for each one of us. So this is really important to understand or accept, or really embrace the idea that everyone's pathway is divinely unique. So just for example, the types of issues that we're each going to be facing and the types of realizations that we're all going to be stepping into on our own journey, they're really going to align with our own preferences and choices and karmic circumstances. So we've each got our own unique gifts and skills that we're all offering to the world. Of course, we all have different past life connections to different deities or teachings or pathways. And we all have different preferences or ideas about how we want to live our life. And of course, we're also going to have different karmic circumstances or energetic debris or different healing issues that we need to really work through as we continue to move through this shift in our consciousness. So maybe a good example that helps to illustrate this is the Love Inspiration Ascension Pathway teachings. So these teachings basically help to connect you with a wide variety of different higher consciousness healing energies. And these are just designed to help speed up the overall ascension process and really help to bring about some really powerful inner transformation results. So over the past 10 or so years, we've had lots and lots of people move through these energies now. And even though the energies that are being offered and received are actually the same for each person, the kinds of awakenings or ascensions or healing issues that each person is moving through really are very different. So we would just say again that as we all move through this ascension process or this process of awakening, the first thing that we really need to acknowledge is that we are all unique, and we're all walking on our own divinely unique journey. Okay, so now that we understand that everyone's ascension journey is unique to them, we can now start talking about the types of things that can sort of start to happen on our ascension journey as it starts to unfold. And perhaps the first thing that we need to talk about here is the idea of catalyst, because this can often be the first thing that presents itself, and this can help to kickstart our ascension journey. So there's actually lots of different types of catalysts that can be presented to us on our journey. But the one we want to focus on here is the bigger type of catalyst, because these can often be very challenging and very significant, but very rewarding. So for example, you know someone who's moved through some kind of life-altering event, something that totally just derails their life. And maybe you speak to this person, say a few years later, and they tell you that this event, although it was incredibly challenging, it was actually quite a blessing, because it helped to push them into a new direction, which normally is much more satisfying for them. And this is actually a very common story. And as this shift in consciousness really starts to ramp up and unfold, say in the coming years ahead, I think the idea of a catalyst will also become quite relevant for quite a few people. So, for example, maybe we'll start to see some of the mainstream population start moving through some of these catalyst experiences, just as a way to help kickstart their ascension journey. So to us, this is one of the main purposes of a catalyst, to help someone move into that opportunity to make a big shift in their life, so that they can basically be guided into higher and more harmonious states of being. And that, of course, is when the catalyst is used wisely and when the individual allows themselves to be guided to where they need to be. And when you do that, it really can offer very significant results. And like we mentioned earlier, there are many different ways that a catalyst can manifest or present itself to you. And of course, it's going to be different for each person, depending on their own unique circumstances. So just as an example, a catalyst could manifest as loss of a job that then opens up a new life direction. It could be a living situation change that then guides someone into a new direction somehow, and so on. So for us, these bigger picture catalysts, they're normally very, very clear. You just really can't miss them. And again, they're here to help push you into a different direction, something that's more fulfilling. But it can be a little bit challenging. And this is why we wanted to introduce this topic here. It definitely can be very beneficial for us in the long run. And that's really what we want to focus on here. So just to finish off, we just wanted to mention here that some of the spiritual scriptures actually talk about the power of catalyst. Most of the ones that we've seen generally agree that a catalyst is normally offered to someone as a way to help them realign or recenter or refocus their life, and that this can help them to come into alignment with their true self and their destined pathway. And so we like to think of a catalyst as being a beautiful gift from higher consciousness that can help us to live a more fulfilling or wholesome or happy or joyful life. Okay, so now that we've talked about the possibility of a catalyst event happening in someone's life, the next thing that we want to really talk about here is the idea that really we're all transitioning into a higher and more evolved state of being. So, for example, not everyone is going to have some kind of life-changing catalyst that then pushes them into a new life-altering direction. Some people will, for sure, but definitely not everyone. But almost everyone will be guided through some kind of transition process. And as this happens, we're going to be guided through lots of little catalysts that can help us to clear away or release many old layers of energy within. So this period of transition is really a time for us to be guided through the process of deep inner healing, as we're all guided to let go and release of anything or everything that no longer serves us on our journey forwards into a higher energetic vibration. So during this transition period, we're all going to be stepping out of many layers of old consciousness, and we're also going to be stepping into the new consciousness energies more and more. So what actually happens when we start to transition out of these old energetic frequencies and into the new consciousness frequencies? That's what we want to talk about and really focus on now. Okay, so during parts 1 and 2, we have already talked about the idea of stepping out of the old consciousness energies. And in those videos, we mentioned that the old consciousness vibration is something that really centers around the concepts of separation and suffering, ego and control and limitation. And from an emotional or experiential perspective, the old consciousness experiences have often been felt through emotional states like anger and frustration or fear, stress, jealousy, worry, anxiety, doubt, greed, and so on. Now, these types of emotional states or inner feelings, these vibrate at a lower frequency. And so over time, these denser vibrations tend to lead towards more imbalance or dis-ease or agitation within. So these denser or lower vibrational energies really aren't in alignment with where we're all moving towards. And therefore, as we continue to transition into these new consciousness energies or into the new consciousness era of truth, we're all being guided through the process of releasing and letting go of these denser energies from within our energy system. And that's really what's happening right now for everyone as a planet as we move through this period of transition. So as we all continue to do this work, it's important to understand that really as a planet over the past, many centuries, we've all been spending quite a lot of our time in these lower or heavier or denser energies. And therefore many of our past experiences may be in need of a little bit of love and healing and divine uplift. So, for example, if we look at the world right now, we can see that there's still quite a lot of lower or denser or heavy energy circulating around the collective consciousness. And so again, this all needs to be cleared away as we continue to move through this transition process and as we continue to move onwards and upwards into the new consciousness vibration. Now, in terms of time frame, it's quite possible that these energies can be released quite quickly, say over the next 5 or 10 years. But of course, how long this takes for us to do as a planet really does depend on the types of intentions and choices that we're all making as individuals, as a collective consciousness in the years to come. So as we all continue to release more and more layers of the old consciousness, this then very naturally helps to open up some more space for the new energies to then be received into our consciousness. So in parts 1 and 2, we said that the new consciousness vibration is something that's based around the concepts of unconditional love and compassion and unity and positivity and peace and truth. And if we look at that from an emotional or a feelings perspective, the new consciousness is normally going to be experienced through feelings like joy and happiness and peace and love and trust and acceptance and understanding about our own divine abilities. So as we move into a higher vibrational feeling as a planet, we're going to be guided more and more into these uplifting, happy and joyful states of being. And as we all continue to move through this process, we continue to step into those beautiful energies more and more, really those higher vibrations are going to be much more prevalent and much more widespread around the world. So in other words, what this means is that we're all going to be continuing to step into those energies, and it's going to be easier and easier for all of us to continue remaining in those higher vibrational frequencies. So one way to think about this is to think that we're all going to be sort of swimming around in a higher vibrational consciousness energy field. And that means that, being more positive or more loving or more joyful, having those kinds of experiences or feelings, again, just becomes much easier for us all because we've got the energetic support for those kinds of feelings or experiences. So in a nutshell, if we look at the kinds of things that might be important in this new earth, we might notice that we're all starting to live from our heart more and more, and we're really making choices that feel right for us in the moment. So we're all going to be continuing to be in energetic states like peace and love and compassion, hopefulness, positivity, and we're going to be allowing ourselves probably enough sacred time each day just to check in with how we're doing energetically and to maybe connect in with higher consciousness and then start to radiate those energies outwards for the benefit of all beings. Perhaps we start to offer our own gifts and skills just like the flower that offers its fragrance to the world freely and with love. And hopefully we can start to co-create a reality where there's very little suffering or maybe no suffering at all, and everyone's feeling that beautiful joy and peace and love and happiness in their life. Okay, so we've now covered the basics about the process of stepping out of the old energies and stepping into the new energies. So now let's talk about some of the other important aspects of this transition process. And one of the first things we want to talk about here is really the idea that we're starting to step into divine alignment with who we truly are. This is a really, really important and key element to this whole shift in consciousness. So for example, you might have heard someone say that we're all divine beings, just living out a human experience. And basically, the more we start to vibrate in alignment with these higher vibrational states of being, this is actually going to be helping us vibrate in alignment with our own higher selves and with who we truly are as a divine co-creator. So when talking about this with us, higher consciousness have essentially told us that we can think about this whole shift in vibration as us returning home, back to our divine center and into a deeper understanding about who we really are. And when we think about this and all of these lower vibrational old consciousness energies that we've all been swimming around in for so long, we can actually think that these denser or lower energetic vibrations, they're not actually aligned with who we really are as divine beings. So for example, there's quite a few channels or mediums who are talking about the idea that when we have these lower vibrational emotions or feelings, they can actually be a really good sign that something is out of alignment. So if we do have some kind of lower vibrational feeling or emotion arising, this can often be a helpful tool and can often be a sign that we're holding on to some kind of limiting belief, something like I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not loved, or I'm not heard. And so basically that unpleasant emotion or that inner feeling is there to help you by saying something's out of alignment and is perhaps in some need of some love and attention. And by applying this tool in the right way, it really can help us to more quickly and effectively heal any issues that might be arising for us on our journey. So another thing that's really important to be aware of as we continue to move through this period of transition is that we're all going to be fluctuating between those old energetic states and the new consciousness states of being. So we have talked about this in the previous videos, but we did want to mention it here again just quickly because once you really accept or embrace this concept, it really just can help you to be a little bit more gentle and kind and patient with yourself as this journey continues to play out, which is really, really important because many of us can be quite hard on ourselves and this journey can be quite challenging at times. There might be some days when you really just feel overwhelmed with what's happening in your life, or maybe overwhelmed by the types of energies that you're being guided to release or let go of at this time. And therefore it's quite natural to spend some of your time in those lower vibrational states of being on those days, when you're releasing those energies. So if you can be patient with yourself and gentle with yourself, loving with yourself, and you acknowledge that this is all part of the process, this can be very, very helpful, especially on those days when things are quite challenging. But then on other days, you'll have days when you just feel incredibly happy and joyful and peaceful and loving. This can often happen just after you've released or let go of some of the layers of old energy from your energy system, or when you receive some new energies into your consciousness. And on those days, it might be super easy or just effortless to spend hours and hours in those happy or blissful states of being. So as this transition period continues to play out, let's say in the coming years ahead, I think many of us are going to be realizing more and more about ourselves and our own inner workings. So you may have heard this saying, know thyself. And really this is the time to get to know yourself in this transition period. So all of this is just to say that as we continue to move through this transition process, it's going to be a process of realization where you're letting go of the old and you're stepping into the new. You're being guided to let go of your inner debris, anything that's no longer serving you at the moment. Basically, you're clearing away all of your clouds so that you can very easily and naturally see the magnificence of your own sun. And as we all continue to move through this transition phase in our own unique way, whenever we experience a feeling or emotion that we perceive as being lower vibrational nature, we can just use this as a way to ask ourselves, what's hiding beneath that emotional feeling? Are there any limiting beliefs that you can let go of? Can you start to use your intentions to release those more easily? Would you like to call on some higher consciousness energies for some extra assistance with the process? So personally, we enjoy working with higher consciousness healing practices, and this has been very helpful for us on our own awakening journey. And based on our own experiences, we've just found that calling on those energies can often help to accelerate the transition process and the process of awakening more generally. But of course, we also understand that everyone is on their own unique pathway and has different preferences. We're all divinely unique, as we said at the start, and therefore it's just important that you move forwards in a way that feels right for you in your own heart. So another thing that's super important to understand as we move through this process of awakening or ascension is just to know that you are being guided. We're all being guided into this new consciousness vibration in a way that aligns with our own intentions, our own preferences, and our own karmic circumstances. So, for example, we all have different things that we need to clear away from our own energy system. We all have different goals or intentions for what we want to achieve in life. We all have a higher self and a dedicated spirit team who are helping us on our journey. And we all have the ability to work with our intentions and just choose whatever practices feel right for us at the time. So we would just add here that now is really an amazing time for doing inner work. And when we say inner work in this context, we're talking about things like higher consciousness healing or just anything that can help you to go within so that you can identify or heal or send love to anything that is out of alignment at this time. So again, right now is a very, very significant time in our own evolution. And this means that for those who are willing to go within and do that inner work, there really is so much divine guidance and higher consciousness assistance that's with us right now. So, for example, we're all being guided through the process of releasing many layers of the old. We're also being guided towards stepping into many layers of the new in a way that aligns with our own intentions and personal circumstances or karmic circumstances. And we're all being divinely guided through this process in a very natural but deeply loving way. And the overall goal here is just to help each person deepen their understanding about their own inherently divine nature and to help each of us step into higher energetic frequencies so that we can all just feel more love and joy and peace and truth in our life. And as all of this continues to play out, we're also probably going to be guided through the process of becoming aware of our lower vibrational energetic signatures, whilst also becoming aware of the types of activities or things that sort of open the door to that, open the door to anger or fear or worry. And of course, as we become more aware of the types of things that spark these feelings, we can then start to make more conscious decisions about exactly what type of state of being do we want to live in and what kind of reality do we want to co-create for ourselves and for our planet. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap. At the very start, we talked about the idea of a catalyst, and we said that these bigger catalysts can often be the starting point of a beautiful ascension journey. And we also said that these smaller catalysts might continue for you, and these can help to really clear away your inner debris. And we also talked quite extensively about the types of things that might be important during this period of transition. And these topics really probably are going to be important for most people as this transition process continues to play out in the coming years ahead. So as part of this discussion, we talked about what it means to step out of the old energies and into the new energies. We talked about what it means to step into divine alignment and to move through the process of realization. And we've just talked about the concept of divine guidance and really how important this is throughout the entire process. And so now we really want to start talking about the more physical aspects of the awakening process, as we talk a little bit more about the kinds of things that you can expect to experience as you continue to move forwards, onwards, and upwards on your ascension journey or your awakening journey. And so in the next few sections, we're going to be really focusing in on the actual healing processes as we talk about the healing process, the healing crisis, the ascension cycle. And just to mix things up a little bit, we thought we'd just walk through the process of a person sort of awakening so that you can see the kinds of things that will arise. So to start with, before we get into the actual example, we need to recognize that there really is so much light being offered to the world at the moment from just so many higher consciousness beings. Now, we did talk about that during part 2, so we won't go into too much detail about that here, except to say that as more and more of this new light is being received into the Earth's collective consciousness at the moment, this is going to be helping more and more people become interested or focused on their awakening or ascension journey. And as more interest is given to these kinds of things that really help to uplift our collective vibration. So let's say, for example, that someone is just starting out on their journey and they're starting to feel like they want to start living a more happy or joyful life. So the first step is often going to be that they start to contemplate their situation. And at this point, they might seek out some helpful information, perhaps online, as they learn about some techniques or practices that can help them to feel more happy and loving within. So as they start to turn towards this new direction in their life, behind the scenes, they're always going to be divinely guided towards things that can really help them in the highest possible way, noting that this will all be happening in line with their intentions and their preferences and their karmic circumstances, because that's really important. So let's now follow this person through the process of awakening or ascension so that we can sort of see the kinds of things that might arise as they continue to move forwards on their journey. Okay, so we just said that the first step in the process is that this person will have some kind of inner yearning or desire to do some kind of personal growth work. Now, there can be many different reasons or intentions or motives behind this, but whatever the reason, let's just assume here that this person is interested in feeling more happiness or joy or love in their life. So we've said that the first step is going to be that they're likely going to move through some sort of contemplation phase, and then as they contemplate, they will most likely move towards techniques or learnings that can possibly help to open them up to receiving something new. And as they move through this process, they may well start opening up to higher consciousness in a way that feels right for them. It could be something like meditation or Reiki or mantras, but it could also be something like prayer or anything that's based around setting your intentions to invoke or invite energies from higher consciousness. So in the previous parts, we mentioned that there are just so many different higher consciousness beings that really showering the world in love and light at the moment. And so for anyone who is starting to become more open and more receptive to receiving those kinds of energies, they will now start to receive lots and lots of new love energies from these higher consciousness beings. And again, it does depend on the kinds of intentions or techniques or practices that they're connecting with. So let's say this person starts to receive more and more of this new light into their consciousness. These new energies, as they're received into the energy system of the individual, they're going to start to assist in the process of releasing or letting go layers of the old energies from within. Just anything that's of a denser or lower frequency that's no longer serving that person anymore, they can now be lovingly released. So we should also point out here that this releasing process does normally happen in layers. So the analogy that's often used is that of an onion. So for example, as the new light is received into our energy field, as each layer of the old is being released, then this is sort of slowly helping us to peel away those layers of the onion. And those layers are our inner debris or our denser energy that can then be released. And as we release those layers, it can often result in what's called a healing crisis. So let's just talk about that quickly now. So basically, in order to help clear away more space for us to receive more and more of the new consciousness energies, we really do need to release or let go of old layers of old beliefs, old thought patterns, old pains, old hurts, etc. And as each layer of those old energies are being released from our energy system, many times we'll move through a healing crisis. So in energy-based healing, we normally say that healing is feeling. So for example, when we're releasing these layers and layers of old or stagnant energies from within, it's often said that we normally need to re-experience those old energies temporarily as they're safely released from our energy system. So, for example, if we're moving through some kind of healing crisis, it could mean that we might get a bit cranky or angry as we release maybe anger or frustration from within. Or maybe we have some super crazy dreams as we release different types of old energies while we're sleeping. Or it might mean that we have a cold for a few days, or we get a couple of extra trips to the toilet, or maybe we have some old ailments that resurface. Maybe we've experienced those before in our life, and as we move through this process of awakening, they may reappear or resurface temporarily as those old energies or pains or hurts are being released from our system, and again, layer by layer. So basically the types of healing crises that we experience, they're going to be directly correlated to the types of energies that we're being guided to release. And this is why everyone's journey is always so different. So the entire process is being divinely guided in ways we can't even imagine. And so there's always lots and lots of help and assistance with this process of releasing. Okay, so we've just talked about the healing process and we've talked about the healing crisis. So now we want to talk a little bit more about what we refer to as the Ascension Cycle. So as you can see here in this little diagram, the first step of the Ascension Cycle process is to receive some kind of new energies. Love Inspiration offers many kinds of free attunements that can help you to very directly receive new energies from a wide range of different higher consciousness beings. So if this is something that sounds good to you, then we'll leave some links in the description box below and you can get started with that. After receiving some kind of new light frequencies into your consciousness, this will often lead to some kind of healing or purification experiences, as we talked about in the previous sections. And this is going to be helping you to release those old layers of energies from within. Sometimes the symptoms are barely noticeable, and whereas other times the symptoms can be extremely challenging. It all really just depends on the types of energies that you're releasing in that moment and the types of healing issues or inner debris that you're needing to face or resolve or release or let go of. And once we've released that layer of old consciousness from within, this is going to pave the way towards some kind of ascension. And again, this can sometimes feel very minor, barely even noticeable, or it could be extremely significant, and it could leave you with a very, very different feeling within. So the ascension process is often correlated to the amount of release that's being done in the previous step. And if you're moving through some kind of major or significant healing crisis, this can sometimes turn into a major ascension or energetic upgrade. At least that's the experience that we've had in our own unique journey. So we just thought we'd share that with you guys. And then this cycle just continues week after week, month after month, year after year. And we like to think about this as being an upwards spiral of light, where you're moving through that beautiful expansion in your consciousness upwards and outwards for the benefit of all beings. So we've talked quite a bit about the challenges that people might face on their awakening journey as they're guided through the process of releasing and letting go of many layers of debris or impurity or limitation. But we also want to make sure that we talk about some of the amazing benefits of this journey, because as this massive shift in consciousness continues to unfold, there really is many profound awakenings and ascensions and inner feelings that are starting to arise. And it really is quite astonishing. There's an array of different benefits that come from doing this kind of inner work. And so we just want to touch on some of these now. So firstly, as we've already mentioned, the new consciousness vibration is one that radiates with a very deep and profound sense of unconditional love and compassion and peace and understanding. So as we progress on our journey, it's quite natural that we'll start to feel this deeper connection with these feelings within ourselves. And another time when you can feel really amazing is when you're having your own sacred time, when you're doing your own personal practice and you're in that sort of connection state. So this can often feel like you're in some kind of heavenly realm, and there's just so much love and peace and expansiveness and joy. And another thing you might notice as you continue to progress on this journey is that as you go about your life, you might just find that it becomes easier to really feel out which option works for you. So basically, you might find that making choices just is easier to become aligned or more aligned with your inner feelings. So we like to talk about this as listening to your heart or following your heart. And when we start to live more in alignment with our heart, this alone can really help us to feel more contentment and happiness and love and inner peace in our life. And another amazing benefit on this journey is that as we continue deeper and deeper into more and more layers of this new consciousness frequency, it's always going to be helping us to move closer and closer to our own divine essence. And as we step closer and closer towards this divine essence, we really do start to see the world in a very different way as well. So, for example, once we start to see ourselves as limitless beings that are interconnected with all things, and we can start to gain some kind of experiential or feeling of oneness from our own practice, this really can have a profound impact on how we look at the world and how we see the world. So when I first started my spiritual journey, I remember reading a very beautiful channel teaching which talked about the idea of just trying to marvel at the creation. So the idea here is, when you see a tree or a leaf or an insect, you just take a few moments to just be in awe of the creation. It takes some time to ponder the oneness or the interconnectedness and how it really works, and just allow yourself to really marvel about how amazing that is. So this can be a nice technique if you want to play around with that as you continue to progress. And another benefit of this journey is that as your inner world changes, so too does your external world. So you may notice that the types of food that you're eating changes, just as an example, or maybe some old or difficult relationships just naturally fall out of your life. Maybe the types of things that bring you joy or happiness, they start to change as you focus on things that bring you more fulfillment. Maybe you start to enjoy nature more and more. Maybe you enjoy doing things to uplift more and more people, and so on. So one of the main attributes of this journey seems to be the process of coming back into alignment with our own unique energetic signature. And as we start to align more and more with who we really are, we very naturally start to live out our life in a way that aligns with that more and more. And that's really where the joy and the contentment really comes from. So this is why also that everyone's journey is going to be entirely unique. And as we understand it in the coming years and decades ahead, each of us are really going to be moving through a very significant process of ascension, healing, awakening, and just really being guided to do this inner work on a very deep level. Okay, so for those who've made it this far, we wanted to finish here by sharing some of the ways that you can accelerate or smoothen out your ascension journey. So these options can help you to directly connect with higher consciousness healing energies that are designed to speed up or accelerate this journey. And this can just help you to bring about more fast, profound, and more effective results. So one of the best ways that you can accelerate your ascension process is by receiving the Love Inspiration Ascension Pathway energies. The Love Inspiration Ascension Pathway will be offering you lots and lots and lots of free ascension attunements. And again, these are designed to help speed up the process of ascension and expansion and awakening. So everything's laid out for you, super easy to follow along with. We've been offering these energies for about 10 years now. And during this time, we've had lots of really amazing feedback from people who've just told us that these energies have really helped to change their life for the better. So if that sounds something that you might be interested in, then we'll leave some links in the description box below, and you can just explore those as you wish. And in addition to the Love Inspiration Ascension Pathway, Love Inspiration also offers its free ascension healing energies, and these can also help to accelerate and smoothen out the process of awakening or ascension. So there's nothing you need to do to start receiving the free ascension healing energies from Love Inspiration, except to just sign up for the free service. And once you've signed up for 18 months, you'll be receiving lots and lots of higher consciousness assistance that can help you on your journey. So again, if you're interested in that, we'll leave a link in the description box below for that as well. And in addition to those two ascension-based healing options, Love Inspiration also offers a range of supporting energies or courses, including a number of free Reiki courses, divine cleanses, master level symbols, and some meditation courses. And we'll leave some links in the description box below for anyone who might be interested in those as well. So hopefully this has helped to give you a pretty good overview about the types of things you can expect as you continue to walk forwards on your own unique journey of ascension or awakening. In the next video, we're going to be offering you 10 tips that can help you with the ongoing process of transformation and ascension. So these 10 things have helped us on our own journey, and so we wanted to share these with you guys in the hopes that they can help you as well. So we hope to see you in the next video. We thank you for being with us today, and we wish you all the best for your continuing journey into this new consciousness vibration.